And we're live. All right. Hello, everybody. This is Maniac4Bricks. Once again, joining me is Kevin Hinkle with another stream of building the Mega Construx Pokemon sets. And I think this time around we'll have a little easier experience with it. So yeah, Kevin's holding up the Bulbasaur and Pikachu, which we'll start with. I'll try to do for the Pokeball Series 1s in just a bit. Stream of building the Mega Construx. Oh wait, no, stop.
Reverb.
It's not a Maniac stream without a little dysfunction. So
Maniac.
Yeah, because I had the chat pulled up on the side and I didn't pause the video before it started.
That's okay. It's all right.
Let's get the bloopers out of the way right now, and then we'll see what happens.
The bloopers. So, have you had any reflections from our last build with Snorlax, Munchlax, and Blastoise?
Like if I thought anything different from when we built them?
Yeah, I don't know. It's been some time, and they're done, and they're sitting on your shelf, and you've had time to enjoy looking at them and think about your experience.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I pretty much feel the same way as like. It's still comprehensive and a little odd with the instructions, with like those yellow and red dots, whatever.
Yeah,
and some pieces are to snap together compared to other ones. But for the most part, they still look really good next to each other. I have Charizard next to Blastoise, and they're like almost eye-to-eye level.
Yeah.
So I think, proportions are pretty good for the most part.
Yeah, so I actually... I think I appreciate their design more the more I look at them, which is kind of interesting. Because as they've been done, I've had them sitting in a separate spot and, walking by. Like, I have grown to appreciate Blastoise more and more and more. Like, the more the more I look at him, I'm like, wow, it looks really good.
Yeah.
It's like a fine wine or an aged cheese. Because I do feel like he looks better the more I look at him. And I also, since the last time we streamed, I did take apart Snorlax. Because I wanted to see if it was difficult. Like, what was the difficulty level in taking the parts apart? And it wasn't that bad. I did have to use a Lego brick separator, which was half functional and half not functional, depending on the situation and the elements. But it definitely helped, because there was parts where just using my fingers alone, it was a little difficult to take stuff apart. But I took it apart. Wasn't terrible. I was a little concerned. If you remember last time, I said, well, this was fun to put it together, but, is it going to come apart easily? Not that I have plans. I do remember that. But yeah, I took it apart. Wasn't terrible. I also got some interesting photos since then. So I have some photos of what I thought were the most interesting parts from that Snorlax set. I haven't done the same with Blastoise yet. But I took some of the parts that I thought were really interesting and laid those out and grabbed a picture. And I also took a picture of some of the printed parts. And then I'm just going to grab a picture of like because I rebuilt it already. So Snorlax has already been rebuilt. And so take some photos of it. But yeah, it was interesting. I was wondering if you had any other reflections since then.
Right. On the topic of breaking the things apart, like by hand versus brick separator, I think I did mention that last time, or like some of them, like with Charizard, I have tried to rebuild some parts of it, but it was more difficult by hand than with like another tool, like a brick separator or something like that. So I definitely feel you on that with some parts,
Yeah, it's interesting, right?
Or there was like that whole, issue we had with like Blastoise cannons.
Yeah,
and trying to attach.
Oh yeah,
those.
Yeah. I am. I
couldn't
actually looking forward to taking Blastoise apart, because I do know I messed up somewhere in there. So I'm kind of looking forward to giving it another round.
I didn't check yet as to why some pieces were extra, if they were actually extra pieces, or if they were something we've missed in the steps. I didn't check back as to any of that currently. A part of me is afraid to, because I don't know how the model it would be.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I just remembered something else I did since we last streamed. So the face print for Munchlax, which I don't really care for Munchlax, but nevertheless, the face print, there's a little scratch across his eye in mine, which is not terrible, but it's just, it's a a dark turquoisey kind of color, and so that scratch across the white eye, it's kind of visible. So I said, you know what, maybe I should also take this as an opportunity to test out their consumer services. So I went onto the support site. Yeah, right there. So like on mine, one of the white eyes, he just had a line.
Like from here, it looks like it's on his left eye, like in the top corner or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Somewhere around there.
It's that's the closest to my Munchlax.
Yeah,
but it's still like you'd have to really look close to it to really notice it.
And so yeah, I had one, and it's not terrible, but I said, you know what, I'm experimenting, I'm learning about this brand and how they do stuff, so I want to test out their customer service. And so I went to their site, to the mega support site. And their website is still kind of a little bit out of date with their new rebranding for Mega Construx, because the website, the official like Mega support site, like doesn't really mention almost anything about Mega Construx at all. So it's all like Mega Blocks, and so it's still kind of like, all right, you got to catch up. You got to catch up with your branding. I put in the information for the set, and the one thing I thought was a little difficult is there was not like a virtual parts inventory list that I could select from. I was like, okay, this is kind of difficult. So the ownership was on me as a consumer to already know everything I need to know straight up. So I went to the site, I put in the set name, and the set name did say, okay, it's this set, and it had the right. When I did that, it said Mega Construx Blastoise, and I was like, all right, okay, so it's got the right set. But then I was thinking it was going to give me a parts inventory, and it didn't. And I was like, okay, I also have to give them the parts number. So I went into the parts list, which, as we found out last time, was in the front of the instruction booklet. And for some reason, it did not like that piece. And so I tried it a ton of different ways, because it's like 3 letters and a bunch of numbers. And there's a dash. And so I did the letters, dash, the numbers, didn't like it. I did the numbers and the letters with no dash, didn't like it. I did just the letters, didn't like it. I did just the numbers, didn't like it. And I was like, I don't understand. And so I said, well, maybe it just doesn't work with anything. So I picked a different part from the same set and typed that in, came up with no problem. Yep. And so I was like, so I'm planning to call, because again, this is just really interesting to me. This is an experiment. So I'm planning to kind of give him the call and say, hey, can I get a replacement for my Munchlax? And I'm curious if they're going to charge me or if it's going to be free. But so far, I wasn't overly impressed with their service on the website.
Okay, then. I haven't tried the customer service through Mega Brands or Mega Construx in any iteration of it up to this point. I have tried the Connects, with a bunch of Connect sets. I have tried once or twice with their customer service. I don't remember if they show by the part. I don't remember if I did it on the site, like mentioned with we're used to it with Lego, with like having that excellent service of
spoiled.
You have the inventory from the set and choosing which parts that needed to be replaced or whatever.
Yep.
I don't remember honestly if it was with Connects, if they did anything with like having that same inventory option, or if I just had to call them and explain what the part was.
Yeah.
I also don't remember there being a charge for that thing being shipped to me, but I do remember that. I think it was like I bought the set new, it was missing that part, and I was, able to identify it through the instructions or whatever, and eventually it came in the mail, but I don't remember having like a charge for it, you know, to pay for that part or for the shipping or anything.
Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it? We're kind of spoiled by the Lego Group's standards of customer service online and stuff. So, it's interesting. So, all right. I mean, I just thought that was kind of some stuff to share since the last Mega stream.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll just throw a quick one to the chat because we got more people coming in. We got Master Chef, we got Galagade, We got House of Bricks, 1x1 brick, collecting bricks, and just some random dude.
Hey, random
Who's
dude.
the first one in there? It's
Thanks for being random with us.
not so random timing to jump in the stream. So, yep, everybody's getting their mornings out of the way. Yeah, it's unusual for me to be up now, but here I am, ready to go.
Rise and shine.
The one day I actually do listen to my alarm, and then I decide to snooze, but I still got everything going. So it's getting better. It's getting better.
Good.
I'm not sleeping through the alarm, or it's not going off at all, or anything.
Well, baby steps.
Exactly.
Awesome. So should we get to
Oh.
work on this one?
I was gonna say, let's crack it open.
Here it is. Here we go.
I don't have the exact 0 around. Oh, well, maybe I put it away somewhere. Last time I used it was with the mounting tape, trying to get the beach town set up.
Right.
I have to upload those pictures still, but it just looks like a grid line underneath a whole bunch of base plates.
I'm gonna adjust my camera.
It's way too meticulous. Oh, you know what? I just realized it's not alternating. I somehow had it presenting you the whole time.
Oh, good.
So,
well, hey, that's all right.
I mean, you got the better angle. I don't mind that, but I don't know. For those who are wondering, I did get another webcam. I had it for a while, but I couldn't find it for the last stream. But now I have it set up, so it should be a little bit better. Still have to play around with lighting and everything like that around here.
So this one is older, right? This is older than the sets we did last time.
Yeah, I think it might be from like the first wave of sets that they put out.
Because the first thing I'm noticing straight off the bat is that these bags don't kind of have that trendy Mega Construx printing on them like the other bags did.
Right, yeah.
So
all like orange.
Yeah, where they have the little like logos kind of printed on the bag.
Yeah.
That's all right though. So interesting.
I mean, it still says copyright 2017, so I guess it was just like, yeah, I guess it was just the first round of them, because this was before any other. As far as I know, Pikachu has been made in like three times so far. This might have been the first one, because it was definitely not the Pokemon one. Real recent, and the 5 Pokemon pack I think was like not too far ago.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously the first thing that hit me, I mean, this is really a military green color.
Oh, yeah.
Like straight up. More military than Lego's military green, which is the olive green, aka the closest thing you get to military green.
Yeah, definitely. I have noticed that with brands outside of Lego, when they get the military green, they get the military green. We had something in here. Galligate was saying Kevin's room is very organized. Interesting how it organized like a rainbow.
Thank you. So look, did you notice this? So this particular bag, this one, is a totally different material than all the other bags.
Wait, am I grabbing the wrong bag?
It has
this one?
Electricity in it, the electric bolts.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's like
I knew immediately as I picked it up.
It feels different than all the other bags.
Definitely.
It's kind of odd. I don't really understand why this one would be.
I mean, like if parts are packaged from different facilities, I guess that would make sense, but I don't know.
Would it though?
Like if some parts are made like in one place versus another, it doesn't seem. I don't know if it's about the parts themselves because they seem like the same plastic or material or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Galligate is also asking another question in the chat. I didn't know if you wanted to answer it.
Oh, well, I don't have it
open.
Can you?
Oh, okay. So I'll relay it then. So Galligate was asking, does Kevin work from home? I don't know if you want to take that or.
I work. The whole world is my office. But yes, I think the simple answer is I do. So I am a freelance illustrator and graphic designer. So I can essentially do what I need to do anywhere as long as I have my laptop, my sketchbook, and pen and paper and all that good stuff. So
All right.
it makes it easier when you've got, you know, family stuff that you can say, well, I'll just rearrange my schedule then.
Yeah, true. JJG Mike Designs, nice. Like, what have I done? It was fun enough to bring it up once before. I'm sure it would. I thought it was going to come up again. The same kind of thing. It was like, it's odd, but as Kevin put it last time, it's good to know what the, you know, know an experience outside of Lego. It gives you like an appreciation for what we're used to, and you know, competition is always good in an industry. So it's good to see like what else is out there. Not like if it's better or worse or anything, but like, you know, there's more to building brands than just Lego. I was watching a video yesterday, and I see this every so often on, you know, whatever's trendy or whatever. I was watching a video yesterday about somebody who built a Lego car. There was no Lego in it. There were bricks, but they weren't Lego.
Yeah.
And the car itself wasn't even entirely out of those quote-unquote bricks. It was like a go-kart that had Lego-looking bricks on top of it. And it was claimed a Lego car.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I do strongly think that I don't think it's particularly healthy to be very, very just almost obsessive over like Lego is the only pure brand and everything else is. It's like, no, come on. I mean, toys are toys, and
right.
you can enjoy what you want to enjoy, and you can have your preferences. Sure, you can have the stuff that you are more partial to. I know I have it with, for example, with Nintendo. I like Nintendo systems more than I like Sony systems or Microsoft. But you know, it's kind of silly to just you know, not even every now and then. Just kind of see, hey, what else is out there, see how the competition's doing. Because as a Lego fan, you want there to be competition. You don't want Lego to be kind of this monopoly, because believe me, you will notice a slip in quality. You will notice a slip in innovation because there's no competition. So competition is good. Competition is healthy. And you know what? It does. And Pokemon is awesome. So there it is.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I got everything laid out.
Building Hawk is in here. We got Angry Dragon 114. Nice to see you both. Angry Dragon is asking, "Are you ready for Brick Fair, Virginia?" I'm not. Kevin might be.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'll be there.
Ready.
So
we got Mason McKinnon. I may be mispronouncing that. Yes, he's asking if he's late. We're only a couple minutes in. No worries. And I said that this was going until noon, so, you know. That's the one thing I've noticed about people with live streams. They always have they feel anxious, like, if they're late. And it's like, look at us. We just started building. We're good. You know, join in, join out anytime.
Hey, you're not late.
You know, you're not
early to the next one.
You're not required to be here the whole thing.
You're not late. You're just early for the next one.
Exactly. It's like a party where it's like everybody's still doing stuff, and you're not really missing that much because there will still be more stuff happening.
So I think I've pulled out all of the printed pieces because I think this stuff is kind of interesting to people. And so that would be these.
I didn't see too many in this one.
I think it's just these. So we've got Bulbasaur's face, Pikachu's face, Pikachu's back, the ears,
or double colored or whatever,
and then these kind of spots.
I got about the same. I just looked. Oh, there we go. I got the spots now.
Oh, and you know what? It looks like some of the arms, or this kind of arm system for Bulbasaur, also has some printing on it. These little.
Oh yeah.
Things.
But it's still there.
Yeah,
I don't remember if this is a blue that Lego has made. or currently makes.
Well, we can definitely do a color comparison. Because once again, I have all my colors sorted. So let me see. Let me put my headphones down, and I'll get some stuff to compare.
Right, because I'm looking at these and I'm thinking Media Manager might be the closest in Lego form, but not quite the same. I could be wrong. So we got JJG Monk Designs is asking, Kevin, can you tell us how you built those amazing red and blue statues? The trainer ones in the background. I'm just gonna go on a whim and say he probably did it through pixel art, like being able to take the sprites of them and compare it to Lego in like a 1-to-1 scale sort of thing, like 1 pixel equals 1 1x1 brick or something. But I know I'm sure he'll have a better answer than I will. It's a method I've actually been looking into for some time, and we'll be coming up with soon with Mega Man. So if you saw the socials and things where I posted about like, hey, what do you like from Mega Man 1 through 6? That's what that's about. And then some. Gallagate says, my kind of job, working from home, good work-life balance. That is very cool if you can get to do that. I definitely don't have that right now. How's it works today? I'm going to upload stop motion. What is it based off of? Yes, I was talking about the Mr. Beast Lego car video. It just kind of came up, and I was like, I might as well see it. And it does that kind of thing that I've seen with like the trendy YouTubers where they're just about to break the rules and or sometimes do. But yeah. And so I was like, I didn't think that was really going to work on the road. Like, I thought it was going to drive, but I didn't think it was going to be street legal.
Nice. So I just put my headphones back on, so I didn't hear anything that was said while I was away. But
that's okay.
Hopefully I didn't miss too much. So I went and grabbed...
There was one question in here before about how you built the red and blue statues.
Okay. Sure. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. So here, all right, so these are Lego. This is all Lego colors right here. I stuck it on the army green kind of grassy mega base.
Oh, yeah.
But these are official Lego colors. And now this tile is our color from Bulbasaur. So I would say the closest, it seems like it's right in the, here, I'll put it actually in the middle. So this tile is the Bulbasaur color, and it kind of seems like it's in the middle of the Maersk blue and the teal.
Okay.
But once again, we have a rare color that is not in the Lego system.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting.
So points on that, and also points on, like, I'm looking at each of the pieces in that color. It's consistent.
Yeah.
So it's not like I complained about this before with the flame pieces and the water pieces that they're like different from each other, but different from what the box advertises. Like they seemed like more shallow, more or frosted or whatever the word is. Like not as bright.
There, definitely inconsistency in kind of maybe the density of the piece could be the way to say it. Or the density of the plastic. So I guess I'm gonna start building. I don't know if you've started building, but I'm gonna start building now.
I've taken a couple parts around, but I haven't started building yet.
Okay.
Angry Dragon 114 was saying doing any of the games. I'm not sure if that was a question. From going back to sleep. No problem, dude. We got Brick Pasta in here. Nice to see you. He's asking, did I get on the 72-hour stream? I did not, since I was at Brickfest, New Jersey, for most of the weekend. I wasn't sure when I could jump in, and I tried to message about the time schedule or whatever, but I didn't get any response as to what the schedule was. So I couldn't claim a spot that I didn't know existed.
Yeah, you kind of
But
had
I
to know.
did try to watch like different parts of the 72-hour stream, like on different people's channels. I just didn't comment that much because I was at the convention.
There's Pikachu's head.
Yep. So for those who are wondering, there are actually, even though Pikachu's been in multiple sets, each one of them has a different expression. I'm pretty sure they're going to be the same build, but each face is different. Like this is more aggressive. There is a friendlier one. I don't remember if it's the 5-pack has it or just the Pokeball. I'd probably guess the Pokeball though.
Oh, and you said earlier there was a question about the sculptures that I made, right?
Yes.
So I have behind me earlier in the shot, you could see them. I have kind of some Sprite gamer art Lego sculptures of Red and Blue, aka Ash and Gary, or whatever you want to call them, from the very first Pokemon game. And I actually built those not too long ago, actually a couple of months ago. And it was both easy and hard. So it was easy because all I needed to do was get the correct gamer sprite, or get the sprite art online and make sure I was faithfully blowing that up to scale so that I could follow it along with Lego bricks. But then trying to get that kind of mosaic to stand up was kind of the tricky part, and that's just making sure everything is structurally sound. So they're built like classic studs up bricks or plates on a base plate, but then I have to kind of bring it off of that and stand it up in a sculptural kind of way. So it's something that I really do enjoy doing. I've done a few before, and I definitely plan to do more of them. But they are also double-sided. So on the back of Red is the same sprite, but it's in blue, and on the back of Blue, it's the same sprite but in red. That way, regardless, whichever game you have fond memories of and was the one you chose, you can still relate to it somehow.
Okay, nice. I didn't actually know they were the same, or that they were color swapped on the back.
Yeah, and it's actually kind of fun when people don't know that, and then they'll see it like I'm a member of ConLeg, the Connecticut Lego User Group, and we had a display last weekend, or maybe 2 weekends ago. Time is flying by, let me tell you. It
really is.
It's a year's almost
done. I think that was last.
We've already crossed the halfway point for the year. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But we had a show at Comic-Con, not the Comic-Con in San Diego, but Comic-Con kind of
with two ends.
With two ends down in the southeastern part of the state. And it was fun because people would see it, and that's kind of the right crowd for something like that. And so they go, oh, Pokemon. And they kind of be like excited, but not like really excited. And I'm like, oh, did you pick Blue? And they're like, yeah, it was Blue for me. And I would turn the statue around and they go, no, there's my guy. There he is. And they get all excited. I'm like, yeah, there you go.
Awesome. I tell you got that covered like in advance. You'd be like, check this out.
Exactly. It works for anybody. It works for whoever you are.
That's awesome. Yeah, I just finished up Pikachu and the Thunderbolt with him. I can't see, Pikachu can be bipedal or quadrupedal. Two legs or four legs. That's the word. 2 legs or 4 legs.
Animal talk.
I don't think they would make one in 4 legs. I just can't. I couldn't see that as a thing.
Yeah.
Especially when it's mostly.
I think I prefer my Pikachu in angry pose. I want my Pikachu fighting.
Always angry.
That's what I want.
I just need to put a ketchup bottle next to him. He'll be okay. Because I don't know if you remember that from the TV show. He loved ketchup.
That wasn't that weird, the episode obsession. Where there was like 2 different clans they both wanted to open a gym, and like the Pokemon inspector had to show up, and they were fighting each other. Right? Wasn't that whole episode? One had a Scyther,
something
and
like
the other
that
guy had something else. I don't remember. But I remember him loving the ketchup.
Yeah. I forgot to mention before, Nebulon Bricks, nice to see you here. We got Sammy Lego 1 in the room. Mason said, last stream like this, like, you told some life story about Lego. Do you have any more to tell, or do you have any idea what I'm talking about? I'm sure there's another one around.
What does that mean? What's the question?
A Lego life story? Well, not Lego Life like the app, but, you know, a life story related to Lego or something.
Something about the company, something about the toy. Feel free
to
some
life story about Lego. I don't remember. I do remember last time when you were talking about like meeting different designers.
Oh yeah.
Or working at the stores and things like that.
Like stuff like that.
That
like
came
work
up.
Experience.
Yeah, I guess so.
Sure. Well, if anyone has questions, throw them in there. Throw them in there. I'm all about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, Bulbasaur is disappointing me right now because I'm putting on the legs and I realize he doesn't have back feet. They're just stubs.
Well, isn't that what Pikachu has? Pikachu has stubs.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
So it fits
I
within
just
their
expected
system.
it to be like the same foot piece
right
along the back too. And they kind of hide that in the box. Like they have just like the animated version of Pikachu, just like cornered and just right against Bulbasaur there, so it's like you wouldn't see it right away. I don't know.
That is interesting.
Trying to hide it.
You would definitely never see in a Lego box some kind of artwork covering the model. Like they just do not ever cover any part of the model.
Right. Even like if they have I mean, even like the older sets. I'm thinking like the older Harry Potter sets when they had like a small picture of Harry in the corner. It was still out of the way of the set.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
But nowadays they do it where it's like mostly along the top section, like the top right or something.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with throwing, fancy marketing or call outs or whatever, but you would never do it at the sake of covering any parts of the actual set. Because
exactly.
You don't want to give any type of false advertisement for what a consumer is going to be purchasing.
Exactly. And the same works with adding something in a set where it's like I've seen it once or twice before with Playmobil where it's like you can't tell exactly if that figure is with the set or if it's separate unless it says on the box. But it's like, oh, this works with this, but it may not actually include it. Action figures, I think, have had that.
Yeah.
Or like if he... I have to check. Maybe the Galador box does have that. Because I was trying to think, like, does Galador... does the TDN module have, a picture with the figure inside of the set and is, like, figure not included or something?
Yeah. I don't think they're...
sold separately.
I really can't recall any Lego sets where there's something that is shown. No, I do know something. Like those small kind of new accessory packs and stuff where it's like where you're like you just get the set and it's like base plates and backgrounds not included or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But that's like newer stuff.
Okay.
I don't remember any products that would mislead.
Those are the kinds where it's like you see the very far background, right? Like you recognize, yes, that's another Lego set, but you know that it's not part of what's in the box.
It's the stuff that you think is common sense. You go, please tell me you don't have to tell somebody that, but of course you do.
Right.
Boat does not float. Like, okay, thank you.
Galligate was asking, is this all the Mega Construct ball you got now, Maniac, or is there more to collect? I did several videos on this YouTube channel already showing different ones that I've built before we built streams with Kevin. So I have shown many others. I do have a video coming out soon that will update as to what I think of them so far before we got into Snorlax and Blastoise and these. I might actually have to can that one and then just like here's everything up to this point or something. I don't know.
A retrospective.
But yeah, I've definitely got a lot more of the the Pokeball ones that you see in the background here. Nebulon says Pikachu's ears look very long. Yeah, kinda. A little shorter. I mean, he used to also be much pudgier, but you know, they changed that up.
I feel like he's in the middle of executing a thunder fist with the electricity coming out of his hand. Pikachu, you are not a fighting type.
See, not only are we talking about the accuracy of the figures, we're talking about the accuracy of the
of all of it
that are available. Oh, Big Pasta! I didn't know that she had an actual schedule posted because I asked her about it, and she just said for it. I didn't get the here's the schedule part, so I missed that.
That's all right. You were like in the middle of Breakfest.
Yeah,
it's kind of a big deal.
I did do like something stream. Maybe it was an hour and a half. I forget. Time flies. But I still had during that time, like if people were, you know, kind of sitting back from the 72-hour stream.
Yeah.
Not that I was trying to get in the way of it. It was just kind of like I thought I'd put this up because I'm already here. Might as well get to show what's around.
Yeah, I actually did quite a bit of the 72-hour live stream.
There were a couple people that displayed and saw that video. They saw the live stream like on the archive or whatever, and one or two of them thanked me for showing them there. It was just, you know, they didn't have much to say about it, but they still thought, well, that was good to do, like to show the mocks or whatever.
Yeah,
I know that some other people have taken photos, and we'll have them for like Garden Slug on social media.
Sure.
All works. Angry Dragon was mentioning Pokemon and Super Mario World are my two games I played a lot growing up.
That means you had impeccable taste, my friend.
That is very good taste. I still have to get through Super Mario World because I've only played it a handful of times, but not many levels.
Hashtag disappointed.
Hashtag at least I still have the cartridge.
That's good. That's a good start. Good start.
Yeah, because it's I think I told you about that one. It's like the Super Mario All-Star Pack and Super Mario World all bundled in one.
That's
SNES
a lot of
cartridge.
That's a lot of game in one cartridge.
Yeah, like I just keep the thing in the system. I'm not even worried about like removing it or anything because it's the only one I have currently, and it's got so many games. Why would I take anything else for right now? Unless I had like Donkey Kong Country or something.
Yeah. Bulbasaur. Just finished Bulbasaur. He's interesting. Not too bad. It looks okay. I don't know how I feel about those Vine whips, but whatever.
I mean, they're posable, so you could like move them around a bit and get some action out of it.
Bulbasaur.
I did see a big caps lock thing in the chat before about Bulbasaur. So well done.
Sorry.
And let's not forget Kevin's impeccable impersonations of
I wish I could do
Pokemon
Pikachu.
Characters.
I would do Pikachu if I could, but Pikachu's way too high pitched. I can't do it.
No, yeah, I'm not gonna force that on you. I couldn't do Pikachu either.
So you know what's interesting? So I reacquired Super Mario World as its own cartridge for my Super Nintendo that I have that I've restarted this whole journey, and I played it dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of times as a kid, and so of course I turned it on and played it again and beat the whole game and unlocked all the secret courses and went to the Star Road and did all that. And
nice.
Then something happened. Where like I put the cartridge into the console, maybe a little jar or something where you turn it on and it's got like the weird glitchy screen, and I was like, oh no, something was wrong. So I quickly like turned it off, took it back out, put it back in, and whole game data was erased. So it's like, oh.
Oh my gosh.
And I mean, it definitely wasn't a huge deal. I've beaten the game so many times, and I was like, dang it, I got to do it again. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't done that
So just like
since then.
Yeah, just that effort lost. I get you. I went back to my Pokemon games, and I mentioned before I thought I had some of them missing. At this point, I'm only looking for Leaf Green and Emerald. Not sure if they're still in my hand, wound up in somebody else's hands, but all the other Pokemon games I grew up with, been able to find them. Yu-Gi-Oh ones might still be missing for the Game Boy Advance, but I have yet to find those. But when I looked over the files for the Pokemon games, they were all erased. And I may have accidentally erased them one time before or something, but now I realize it's not just for go back for. It's everybody I gotta go find again. And try to, complete that game again.
But you wouldn't have done that,
But it's weird.
Would you have deleted them?
It's weird because... I'm sorry?
Would you have done that and gone and deleted your files on purpose?
I wouldn't think I had.
Because I think from what I've been researching, I'm not an expert, but I feel like there's some kind of internal battery in the Pokemon games specifically, something in the cartridges, where after so many years, it does kind of, it's done. You can't handle it anymore, so it boots it so it can keep itself alive.
That's what I was going to say was that's the weird thing about coming back to it. It says that there is like an internal battery that won't activate some of the in-game timed events. So like I tried to research this because apparently, and mostly with the Ruby Sapphire games, the thing is, like when you first start a file, it keeps a counter of how many days since that file was started.
Okay.
And then after like 365 days or so, it does something to either reset it or the counter no longer applies or something like that. So it's like if you have a day and night, if you plant a berry and then you come back another day or several hours or something, it won't recognize that's a different it's a different day. I think they even call it a berry glitch for that purpose. But yeah, some events in the game may not be timed right, so I'll have to see if that.
So maybe it doesn't.
I have been fixing just over 10 years late to figure that out.
Right. So, but maybe it's not a thing though that it would erase your game. Then it's just
right
events and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the fact that the files were deleted and have to restart them is completely different from that. It's just a matter of, maybe somebody else played it and didn't, maybe overwrote it or something.
That's pretty sad. I'm gonna tell you, it's pretty sad.
It honestly is, because that was a big part of me playing the game and on my own growing up. Like I felt really proud of even that much of it. Like over 90% of the game, and not that I even did it on my own, but I still did it with my brother. But it was a good shared experience.
Yeah, I think Pokemon was the very first game that I really sank a ridiculous amount of time into. Like I think when they finally started showing or did they show playtime in the very first games? I don't remember. They might have.
I don't remember if they did.
But I remember they were the first games that when you would look in there at playtime, that I had over 300 hours of gameplay on one particular Pokemon game. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. I have since broken that with Zelda Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey.
Of course.
But those were just those first games that I just really sank so much of my life into.
Definitely. I mean, I still remember that when my brother and I first got the Game Boy Advance SPs, and we got a couple of games to go with them. That Christmas, we were quiet. We were not that we were really rambunctious, but it was we just sat there and stared at the screens constantly playing the games. And we played them everywhere. We played them on car rides. We played them on vacation. At every chance we could, even at home, we would just go all out on this, and it was also a great experience of like, you know, we would play our own games of going through the, you know, the gym badges, through each of the gym leaders and get the badges, go through the Elite Four and things like that. But when we were trying to complete them with all the Pokemon, that's where we tried like a lot of trading, and that way we would just register it in each. We'd still keep our own copy of each Pokemon.
Yeah, that's the essence of the game right there. You got it.
Definitely. I'm probably way behind, so let me see. Building Hunk was asking if I saw the $12 vintage haul. Not yet. I'm still behind on a bunch of videos, so I will have to check that out at some point. We got Jigglypuff.
Jigglypuff is in the house.
Yeah, y'all remember Jigglypuff from before?
Jigglypuff, my man.
See them again. Nebulon was asking, WP what? I'm just reading it as it was in the chat. WP what Pokemon do you want to build out of Lego? Well, Kevin already has a couple answers for you.
Yeah, I actually would like to build all of the first 151.
So that, yeah. And we're down to what, like, it's 5 now, right?
Oh, well, I mean, out of Lego, I'd like to build all 151. And out of Lego, I've only had 2 that I've done with my own design, which is Pikachu and Mewtwo. But yeah, I mean, I'm a sucker for Gen 1. So for Gen 1, I'd like to build all the Mega Gen 1 sets. But yeah, for designing it of my own, which is another reason I'm doing this, because I'm hoping that I get some inspiration from how Mega has designed some of these kits to translate over to Lego. Right. I would like to do that. That'd be a nice goal for myself.
Yeah, definitely. If I had to choose, I would definitely want to make the Trico evolution first, because that, I mean, I've already gushed about Ruby and Sapphire so far. That's my boy. That's how I grew up with him. And
are you sure you wouldn't want to do Feebas?
Eventually, I would get to Feebas.
Because I know that's your favorite.
But I'd have to put him on the back burner for a while, because I'm like, no, I can't think about you.
Feebas.
And it's funny because I think in Pokemon Go I have a Feebas, or I at least know that Feebas can be caught. I don't, and it's way easier than in the games.
I have a Feebas in Pokemon Go, and I cannot look at him and not think of you every time I look at him. I'm like, oh, look, there's Feebas.
Yeah, great. I don't remember if I have him. I want to try to have like a printout or something of the Pokedex that's in there, because I can't keep track of which Pokemon I have. I have like 5 of any given Pokemon at this point, because I'm like, have I seen you before? I guess I'll catch it, and then I find out, oh, I've already got one.
Yeah, but that's kind of the beauty of this kind of more casual mobile version, is that you really do want to catch every single thing you find. It's like, you get experience for catching them to help level up your character. You change them in for candy to evolve them. So there is really no reason, aside from not having Pokeballs, to catch every single thing you find. It's just, you just keep going. Keep on catching.
That's very good. I do see that.
But sorry to cut you off. You said you wanted to do the Trico evolution.
No, yeah, I would want to start off with the Trico evolution. I'd probably go with Ludicolo next. I'd probably go with Lotad. I forget what the second one is. There's one in between. I forget what he's called. But I have a picture of what he looks like.
Okay.
I just can't. It wasn't really an interesting one for me, and I thought like the other two, I like their designs much better. So
that's cool.
Because again, next to Trico, the Ludicolo evolution, or the Lotad evolution, was my boy. It was like Ludicolo was one of my favorites, and I trained him a lot in Sapphire.
You took him all the way to the top.
He was pretty much.
You took him all the way to the Elite Four.
I remember Sceptile being level 100. Ludicolo wasn't far off. He was in the upper. He was at least 70. He might have been way above that. And I would probably. Jigglypuff was asking, "Do we have Jigglypuff?" I don't even know if there is a Jigglypuff right now in Mega Construx.
I haven't seen one.
Yeah, I don't know yet. We get that. I would probably want to build that in Lego at some point. That'll be cool.
Jiggly. Get your marker out.
Yeah, exactly. I do remember that now.
Every time I sing, everybody falls asleep.
Yeah. I'll just stand real close next to someone, fall asleep, and then go flying off the stage.
Exactly.
In the Smash Bros. Version.
This is interesting. It's like a T-bar in the Lego system, kind of.
Like the pneumatic bar.
Yeah. It's like similar-ish.
But it's longer.
See, who would not want to sit here and take this interesting journey into this other side of the fence? Or maybe these live streams and us doing it will help give you the information you need without having to spend any money.
Very
Perhaps.
true.
We're doing a service.
We'll bite the bullet. We bite the bullet for you.
We're providing a service.
Exactly. Angry Dragon 114 was throwing in here. They should do a Pikachu blind bag series that has his outfits from Pokemon Go. That would be interesting. It would be a little it would take some customization to actually make each of them against the regular style of Pikachu, because I've only found one or two so far. Like the vacation Pikachu with a hat on and glasses. That'd be kind of cool.
That's current.
I would love to have a surfing Pikachu though. That would be great.
Okay, so you finished too, right? All right, so I got my little forest. This is the forest.
Surprisingly, I'm done now.
Nice.
Usually I was a slower one. I was the slow poke from the last stream.
Slow.
No. I do need to get that plush from GameStop. He's just so adorable. It's so derpy.
I really hope.
Whooper.
Whooper. I really hope that as they continue to release more games, that they finish the transition, if you will, from the traditional pixelated Pokemon cries to the actual just names like anime voiceover, because I can tell that they're getting more and more comfortable with including that. Certain Pikachu. For some reason, Pikachu, they're super comfortable just using the anime Pikachu voice in every game. And it's okay, but now start rolling it out, because I really think that they should. Because if they're really going for this whole multimedia approach where you're getting immersed in this entire experience across film and television and gaming and all this stuff, you need to have consistent voices and consistent sounds and consistent everything.
Right.
And I can tell that they're doing something, because as the games come out, if you pay extra close attention, the Gen 1 sounds, they keep changing them and tweaking them and tweaking them and tweaking them, where it's getting further and further away from that original just couple MIDI sounds.
Right, yeah.
Getting into something, getting it towards real, but they're still not quite biting the bullet on just straight up hiring the voice actors and just recording the lines like in the show.
That's true. I mean, it's definitely come a long way in every other aspect of the games, which, it goes from the sprites from Red, Blue, Yellow. There were basically 3 or 4 types of sprites that were representing tons of Pokemon.
Yeah.
You couldn't look at a single one of those and say, "Oh, that's Nidorino." You would have to look at what the name is. There would be 2 or 3 other ones. And then you have the sounds of them, like you said, they do improve over time, and they do change them up so they are more distinct. Yeah. So it does make sense as to graphically, out of anything from Pokemon right now, the voices are probably the most. I don't want to say primitive, but like.
Yeah, they seem like they're behind,
But
like behind the times.
Back. Yeah.
So
maybe
should we?
Primitive wasn't.
Since we both finished, should we maybe ask the chat which one we should do next? Because we both have these three. Because I see them in your
All right,
shot.
yeah.
We have Ekans, we have Cubone, and we have Rattata.
Right. I'll move Meowth out of the way. Maybe we'll do him last or something.
I already made mine now. Mine's already done. That was the one I built. Remember, that was my entry into this.
Right. I forgot. I'll have to build two at the same time.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, so we'll throw it to the chat if you want to. Which one you would like to see first between Ekans, Cubone, and Rattata? I'll catch up with the chat in the meantime. So, cool. Nebulon Bricks was saying there's one little cannon in the Y-wing set for Rogue One, which I thought wasn't actually there, but it's part of Morov's backpack. I'm not familiar with the character, so I'm not sure what that meant. Jacob Puff was asking if Kevin plays Smash. If so, what system? My favorite one is the Wii one.
Nice. Yes, I do. I have played every Smash game ever released, starting with the first one on Nintendo 64. If I had to have a favorite, I probably spent the most time playing the GameCube version, which was Melee, if I'm not mistaken.
That is Melee.
And that is, I also know, the one where they keep re-releasing the GameCube controllers, because apparently that was really when the game entered the whole competition arena.
Right.
So that was probably the one I sank the most time in.
It's for one reason or another, the GameCube controller has been the most ergonomic, like the one people most remember and like have a good steady feel for it.
Yeah.
And I can't argue with that. I do like the GameCube controller design.
Yeah, so do I.
It feels good.
So do I. So yeah, that's probably the one. I wouldn't say that's my favorite, but that's definitely the one I sank the most time into. I would probably say the I guess the Wii version. Because I guess that's the last one up until when Ultimate releases. That one has been. Or what? Oh wait.
I don't remember called anything special. The one's just been Super Smash Brothers 4.
Yeah,
didn't really have like a.
I got to go through my memory banks because there was Smash Bros, Melee, Smash Bros, Brawl.
Yes.
And
then Smash 4. I don't think it was actually called Smash 4, but most people I've talked to have called it that.
Wasn't it just like
kind of
Smash Bros 4
for the Wii and then for the 3DS?
Okay. All right. So I really like that one, but nothing to me could beat the story, the Subspace Emissary of Brawl.
That was
just epic.
That was incredible.
Too good. So that's probably my favorite one.
Definitely. I really did a lot, and I think I've actually sunk the most time into that one because of Subspace Emissary. I don't remember, like, I've definitely done a lot of stuff through Melee with all the different mission modes and things like that, but I don't think I've gone through as many of them.
It's so good, like, so good.
It's and likewise, I have every Smash game currently. I have played them all through. I still remember photographically being in Blockbuster before they closed, like probably years before they closed. I remember being in Blockbuster and purchasing the N64 Super Smash Brothers game.
Nice. And that's where it all started.
Yeah. That's how it all goes. I think my cartridge still has like a label on top of it for like Blockbuster. Either that or it's another game or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I got it in the box, so I don't actually know why it has a label on there, but maybe it was another game and I'm confusing them. Angry Dragon was asking, do you have stunt effects? Not sure what that is.
I think that's a game, but it sounds familiar, but I don't have it.
Okay. JJG says my first Pokemon game was Platinum. Okay. Nice. I did not play that one. currently. House of Brick says the Vine pieces look kind of cool. My dad got one of those mini Nintendo things for his birthday. Oh, like the mini NES.
Nice.
They re-released that not too long ago, right?
They did. Yep. And apparently, because I actually just watched a video. There was one of our recommended videos on YouTube for what changed between the last version and the new version, because Nintendo is not necessarily calling it like a re-release. They're just saying, oh, it's available again. But it is a reissue because I guess people were found to have hacked the old machine, and they could drop in hundreds and hundreds of ROMs of all the games instead of just the 30 that it comes with. And so they've adjusted it so that you can no longer hack it. They just did some very, very, very minor adjustments to the packaging, almost where you couldn't even tell it's different. But it is
cosmetic.
Yeah, like moving the Nintendo seal from one side to the other side. But it is a different machine so that it's no longer hackable.
That I was curious about that, if there was any change between them.
I'm waiting for my mini Nintendo 64.
Right. I would definitely get that as soon as it comes out because I love that system. Even though I probably have like most of the games it would contain, it would still be something. We got Shiny Chestnut in here. Building Hog says, has anybody played Pokemon Rumble? No, not for me.
I haven't played that one either.
I think it's in the vein of Pokemon Stadium and Pokemon Coliseum, but not as good. Because I haven't heard a lot of good things about it. So I don't know.
Has anybody given any input into which one they would like first? Any comments?
I'm just waiting on it in the chat.
Oh, that's all right. Just curious if anybody.
We got BrickTuber in here before. Bubby Bricks, nice to see you. Here yet about which to go with next. Mason McKinnon, you got me at the right time. Got the right question for me. Have you played Sonic Adventure 1 and 2? Yes, both, multiple times. Love both of them, even if they're cheesy. The cheesiness kind of adds to it, but I unabashedly, those are my favorite Sonic games in the 3D realm. And probably the ones I've nearly completed.
Cheesy is good sometimes.
Yeah.
I like cheesiness sometimes.
I mean, like, I will admit to the flaws of both of those games with the animation, with the voice acting. Like, Sonic Adventure 2 has a notorious voice acting issue where the cutscenes don't always match up that well with what is animated there. So, like, the lines will always trip over each other. Or they're not always balanced right for, like volume and things. But I can't tell you how much I've loved that game and how much more I loved the Sonic franchise because of both of those games.
Nice.
But, yeah, I'm not seeing anything here as far as between the three choices. For those who don't know, we are trying to decide between Ekans, Cubone, and Rattata. What you guys can vote in the comments, which one you would like to see built. Sega woke up again. Hashtag Num Num Cookie. Did you see The Incredibles 2 yet?
Yeah.
Or should I say Incredibles 2? It doesn't.
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was okay.
I thought it was a good follow-up, a good sequel. Like,
yeah, you know,
not too overbearing.
Yeah, I think so. I'm kind of in the camp. I don't know if you've seen the commentary online, but I'm kind of in the camp where, so like, we took my youngest son to see that film, you know, and he's 4, and he was not at all interested in that movie. And so, yes, the action at the beginning caught him because he's a little boy and he likes to see explosions and lasers and stuff. It's cool. But as soon as it got into, like, I mean, a huge chunk of the movie is pretty deep stuff. It's like, you know, talking
there is a lot of that.
And that's fine. That's great. That, believe me, as someone who is a connoisseur of animation as storytelling to tell really important things, I'm all about it. But it was interesting because there's a lot of commentary going around, but people are like, is this too much of an adult movie for a Pixar movie? And then of course, the other side of the argument as well, but there's lots of adult, quote unquote, adult cartoons that tell serious stories and narratives. And I said, yeah, totally, I get that. But I don't know, right. I don't feel like I go into a Pixar branded, Disney branded movie expecting like an adult, deep issues and, looking into stuff like that. I don't know. So I liked it, but my expectations were off.
I can see both sides of the argument, but I will have to say, I don't think it's the first time they've done this. Even if you look at the first Incredibles, there is some clever commentary in there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And like a kid can enjoy the movie for one thing, an adult can enjoy the movie for another thing. And that's what I liked about Incredibles 2 was that the main villain carried some of that through in their own way of it. Like, you could actually understand a little bit of the villain's motive and their background because of it. But I do agree. There's a lot more dialogue heavy moments in this film versus the original one, where it's a back and forth between things about, if the supers should be legal, or a perspective of, I think they said about like the buyer versus the seller sort of argument, like which one is more important, and things like that. There was one scene that I've heard many people say is sort of a head fake, because you see some action, you see some like moving around on screen, and you're like visually focused on that, but there's like dialogue playing in the background, like it's supposed to be from some other broadcast or something like that. And there's actually some good information in there that kind of negates what you're watching at that same time, where it's like you're only paying more attention to what you're seeing versus having your own experience or anything else that's going on, like just, shutting your mind off or whatever.
Yeah.
Not in those exact words, but that was a head fake that I remember a lot of people talking about. And when I watched the movie, I was like, I see what you're saying. And I did pay attention to that dialogue because of that.
Yeah, so I guess where I'm coming at from it is I do think it's a great movie. I really did enjoy the movie as someone who went to go watch it for my own personal enjoyment. I don't know how I feel as a parent taking my young child to see it. And again, I try to be kind of, I guess educated into, what my child is watching and the ratings and all that kind of stuff. But, it's almost like you don't even feel like you need to double check a Pixar movie. Like, oh, it's a Pixar movie. Let's take the family. Mm-hmm. Like, it wouldn't even cross my mind to go, should we look into like, what's it rated and all that kind of, like, it just wouldn't even cross my mind. And like I said, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I thought it was really good, but there's so many like, important and kind of deep issues, equal rights and, father, husband and wife relationship, stay-at-home dad. I mean, there's just so many things in there that it's like, it's good, but it's like, probably not, little kid stuff. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with animated movies that are aimed older, but it's just kind of, it makes me feel weird. I was like, I don't know. I don't think I would have brought my son to see this.
That's fair. There was one comment in here that mentions that Incredibles should have been PG-13. One thing I would say, though, and this was a weird thing, they put up only like a week or so after the premiere that, in movie theaters, they would have to put a sign when you're buying the tickets, and I saw it myself, and I took a photo of it, of
the Flash.
Incredibles have lots of flashing lights, sort of like epileptic strobe light. I would have thought that would be something that would be an issue. Like, they wouldn't have had that so vibrant and so fast in the movie, like as soon as it came out. Like, they would have probably tested that, would have been an issue.
Yeah, I don't have any sensitivity to that stuff, but it, like, when it came up, I mean, there was a couple where it was intense, and I had
me neither, but I was still like,
wincing a little bit, and maybe like kind of scrunching your eyes closed because it was kind of intense.
Like, I don't have any reaction to it either, except for how sudden it could be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely understand that. I did see one comment in here about building Ekans. It's so far the only thing I have seen.
Well, then that person wins.
Oh, we did have a vote. So there's one on each, but nothing for sad.
Well, all right, we'll put Cubone aside and we'll do the first. Ekans was the first one you said you saw.
Rattata, I think, was the first one that popped up.
All right, let's just do that.
And mention that one.
We'll dive in there so that we're not waiting too much longer. This is not the Kevin Joey Power Hour.
Right. Believe me, I've had the same issue before where I just carry off in like a voting something and I wasn't sure if the votes actually came in and
Sure.
I'm like, wait, what am I doing now? So
wait a minute, where am I? What day is this?
That's business as usual for me.
It's Christmas Day.
Okay, that really got stuck on there. The cardboard got stuck to the top of it. I am happy that I have more Pokeballs now and not Premier Balls.
Yeah, I don't like
the Premier Balls from the other 2 waves or whatever.
Personally, I can't stand. I mean, forever and ever, as long as I can remember, merchandise that's like the other styles of Pokeballs that is not either Pokeball, Great Ball, Ultra Ball, or Master Ball. I hate all the other ones. I'm like, nope, I don't want to see it.
Right.
I don't want to have it. I don't even really use them in the games.
Yeah, I mean, like I use them sparingly.
I just can't. I can't even.
I do want to point out. I do want to build some of the other Pokeball sets. Surprised that these instructions are, because in the other Pokeball sets that I've built up to this point, they've all just been folded and crammed in there with all the other pieces, and like the other pieces would still be bagged, but not the instructions.
Crack it open.
And I also long accordion style of this thing in all one long thing here. I don't know if it's showing up on.
I love it
on screen.
It's pretty funny.
It's funny. It's unusual. It looks like a shopping list, or like when you have those families with like, oh, we've been to these vacation spots or whatever, and they just have like the wallet that keeps folding down with pictures.
Let me show you pictures of my kids. Hold on.
Oh, that yeah, or the family.
Oh, so you know what? Actually,
we also got the same thing here. Most people are saying that Incredibles 2 was for grown-ups.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just interesting because I don't think as a consumer, as an audience member, you don't go into a Disney Pixar movie going, oh, I need to check the rating and see what this is rated, and see if it's appropriate for my kid. Yeah, I think every Pixar movie has done a really good job at kind of providing slapstick comedy for the kids and a couple hinted at deeper issues for the adults and jokes that go over the kids' heads and stuff. But that one was just, like I said, my son totally lost interest. After the fighting was done, he didn't want to be there anymore. He asked to go several times in the theater. He's like, can we go? I'm done. And I was like, well, no, I paid a lot of money for this, so you're going to watch it.
Yeah, it's fair. So it looks like a new head for Rattata.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't they pronounce it like a couple of different ways, like Rattata and Rattata?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm saying it wrong.
I feel like it's both right and both wrong.
Yeah.
So something that's really interesting.
It's like Pokemon proportions. They never get it right between 2 pieces of multimedia.
Okay, look at this.
That's why I'm not concerned with any of the Mega Construx builds, like if they're off proportion to each other for any of the Pokemon, because it's like the games aren't even accurate or scaled right.
Right. So the first thing that struck me as soon as I opened this and these pieces came out was the color, of course, because that's always the first thing I look at. And I have my whole collection sorted. This in this baggie is the only Lego piece I have in this color. This is kind of like this weird. Let me take it out. Actually, might be better to see it. But it's this weird purple, and it's not like any other purple I have.
It's not like a magenta, right?
Maybe kind of. And so, look how that's almost the same.
You know what? Strangely, I think I might have something like that, and multiples of them. Because I do remember getting a pickup pop years and years ago with 1x4s just like that. And very similar color to these.
That's it. This is out of my whole collection. This is the only part I have in that color. And this is the same shade, almost identical. Interesting. Destiny Rattata.
Building Hawk, I did mention before about Pokemon Rumble. Neither of us have played it personally. Actual costume of Screenslaver only is seen in the movie for like 5 minutes. I didn't mind it too much.
Yep.
Incredibles 2 is the worst sequel they made.
No, Cars 2 is the worst sequel they made.
Wait, Cars 2?
Cars 2 is awful. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Mater goes to like Japan or whatever, and it's just
This is the funny thing. I thought about this after I saw The Incredibles 2. The Incredibles is like a flip of Cars, because The Incredibles started with a spy gimmick or a spy like subplot to it.
Yeah.
But they did better than Cars 2, which had it as the second movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure. Yeah, so my vote would be that Cars 2 is the worst sequel.
Yeah. Mason is a little upset that The Underminer was heavily marketed when he was only in the movie for like a couple minutes. I get that, but it's also like it kind of like keeps the mystery of the main villain. I guess, there's not much they could have like added in for that part, and if people already remember the Underminer from the last film, it kind of just helps them to be like, oh, we get to see him again, and this means more. It's not just like a write-off thing. It's like the way that the Lego Movie 2, the second part, has or probably have more about the Duplo, and it's not just a write-off in the back end of the first Lego movie.
Okay, so this
just picks up right after.
This is not very good. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but
I just started building now.
These for like these arms, legs thing.
Yep.
This piece that we've used on a lot of these other kits, right? And they click onto the ball. In this color, it's actually making a whole lot of little white like friction cracks in all 4 of the legs. All 4 of them. It's really difficult to see it. Maybe you're there a little bit. Can you see the white?
I can kind of see it from your side. Yeah, like right underneath it.
Yeah, and that's where it is. It's right underneath where the ball joint is. And I watched it carefully because I put 2 in and I said, wait a minute, did those pieces come like that? And on the other ones, they weren't like that. So I watched it as I attached it to the ball and socket, and those little white friction cracks showed up right when I did it.
Yeah, I'm paying attention to that now while I'm putting them on.
Yeah, take a look at it. They show up.
I put one on the wrong side, first of all. And second of all, I definitely saw that. Like, with 2 of them, it's definitely becoming more obvious. And one of them I had to move, so it's like a reattachment, but yeah.
It's pretty bad.
It's the lime joint.
Bam. Most ambitious crossover in history.
Yeah, definitely.
That's not a good thing, though. You don't want that
for those. Right. Yeah. For those who don't know, in Bionicle, around 2007 or so, they had lime joints that were very brittle. They were very easy to pop off after only a couple times of using them. And I still have many sets that use them, even like used copies of those sets, and they're just enough. They just work just right. But I do take caution with most line pieces in Bionicle when I get my hands on them.
As you should.
Mm-hmm. What else we got?
I like these whiskers, these like fabric whiskers. Just like
really, out of those 50 pins that you have down there, that's the only color. I don't believe it.
No, hey,
of
believe
the
it.
the 1x4.
Believe it. In that
It's
color,
there.
I have, because why on earth would I lie? I wish I had more. I don't.
Mason mentions that it looks like the same color of purple from the Green Goblin glider from 2003.
It could be.
You might be close. Actually, no. That's like a regular purple, because I have that one and I don't recall it being that light.
Yeah,
it's like trying to think of an example of like a purple.
It's weird. It truly is bizarre.
It's like the main purple you see in most sets nowadays.
Yeah, like quote unquote regular purple, like just normal.
I don't know what the actual term for it is, but I'm trying to think of a set that actually has it in there.
Yeah, because I have lots of purple. It's just that specific
like the purple,
color,
like the purple from the last Nexo Knights wave or something like that. I guess it'd be the most recent example.
See, so what I find very fascinating about when you as a Lego fan sort your collection is you have a really interesting look at what you own. You know, you finally kind of have a good overview of what do I have and how many do I have. And what I find interesting is to see what I don't have. That's what I find really interesting. So when I go through it and I go, wow, I've sorted all my 1x1 plates and I only have 8 in lime green. That's weird. That must be really, really rare because I have like hundreds of other colors. And so I find it interesting to see the ones that like I said, showed that earlier, that one brick I have and that one purple. That's unusual to me. I'm like, wow, how did I only get one of these in a collection that's been collected for 20 years? I'm like, it's really, not that I'm buying everything, because nobody can buy everything. It's really expensive. But
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the other difference is the fact that you already have everything sorted. You have a good grasp of what you have. Meanwhile, I know the stuff that's around here vaguely, and if I had it in the appropriate bins and whatnot,
right.
I wouldn't have to focus on it as much, and I'd have a better look at what's around and what I would still like to get a little bit better than that.
Sure.
I don't know if you noticed this before, but when building Rattata's head, there was a small cloth piece.
Yeah. Yep.
That is supposed to be his whiskers. I almost missed that in the bag.
No, yeah, I mentioned that earlier. I said that I like the claw things.
Yeah, because I was afraid like maybe I lost it or would have thrown it out by accident or something.
What's interesting is that this is the first Mega Construx set so far. I haven't built mini, but that has 0 extra pieces. There's nothing extra.
Okay. I don't remember if any of the ones I've built so far had 0, but they have been varied. There's not a certain number of them that have been extra or a certain type of piece that has been extra. Bryce Pizza 1, nice to see you here. Sorry I didn't say hello before. Jigglepuff left.
Jigglepuff left. Oh, he left the battle. He was his trainer called him back.
Return to the Pokeball, yep.
Time now for a good rest, Jigglepuff.
Nebulon Bricks finished a Star Wars Snowspeeder, very nice. Which one, may I ask? Because I'd have to say that's probably the one. I've said this a few times before. I don't remember how many on camera, but I have said before, when it comes to Star Wars and some licenses, I don't really care too much for getting every variant or having certain variants of things. But Star Wars, certain models, I would like to get a variant of. Snowspeeders, that's my jam.
Hold on.
Because I love the Battle of Hoth. I love Episode 5, so I do pay more attention with those sets in particular.
I just noticed something that I did not notice before.
What's that?
Look at this. If you can read this at the very bottom, colors and decorations may vary.
May vary. There we go.
That's a very interesting disclaimer to put on your product.
I mean, it's a fair one, and I guess I can't complain about the water pieces from last time with that in mind.
It's just, again, I think it shows being a little bit spoiled by the Lego group upholding a what you see is what you get mentality on the box. Because it's like you would just never even think like, oh, I don't get exactly what I see on the box.
I'm looking off screen at this is Mighty Micro's set that I apparently had a double of them and didn't realize until like the other day.
Yeah.
It's the Wonder Woman versus Doomsday set. I'm looking all over the box and trying to figure out if it says the same kind of disclaimer.
Yeah.
And it does not.
No, because what you see
it does say where the components are made or where they're distributed and things like that, but nothing in here says colors may vary. Or decorations may vary. Nothing like And I forget. Do we got Ekans now?
Yeah, I've just finished. Finished that and opened up Ekans. Where do you stand on the debate of on a Pokeball, the button on the front, if that should be attached to the red or attached to the white? Because in the actual art for the series and the anime, it does switch back and forth all the time.
Point. I would say it would attach on the bottom.
On the white?
Because on the white. Because if you're going to press the button in and the rest of it will lift up, it would make more sense for that like hinge or whatever to like carrying that with like if you were to press the button and for that to carry with it doesn't make as much sense to me as letting this push in and then the rest of it lifting up. I don't know exactly how to explain it. But I'm trying to think of like maybe a car door or something, or not a car door, but like a trunk, a car like in the back. How that would line up with like if you press a button there, how would it open?
Yeah,
or other things that would be kind of like it.
Yeah,
like would the button be on the bottom for those? I can't speak today.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I like it on because see that's the thing is because it's officially drawn and depicted both ways all the time. It's like you can kind of just take your pick of which one you like more, and I think I like it on the red more. Like I think I like it on the top. I don't know. Yeah,
it definitely looks. I mean, it looks good on the top, but I feel like for function, the white makes more sense to me.
And yeah, you mentioned this right when we opened Rattata that the instructions were plastic wrapped, but these are not.
Oh yeah, and they're in the same series too.
Interesting. Consistency.
That's like the only one so far instructions wrapped. I know that I have the like when Burger King had and they have gold cards or something with the Pokeball. I put back as to which one it was, but the where you press on it and it'll open up.
Yeah,
but I don't remember which side of the Pokeball it was on.
Yeah, and see that's the same thing as the toys. The toys are also different.
Yeah, like no consistency.
This is a very interesting piece to print on. This like bottom jaw, where it's got like hinges, and they've printed on the hinges.
Yeah, I'm trying to see like. I'm trying to look at the past ones, the other Pokemon, and see if they have the same keys. And I mean, I don't think any of them are, but just to see if it was even made in another set.
I need to get a Geodude. Geodude's pretty cool. I don't have a Geodude.
Yeah. if he would, I think I've pointed him out before in like GameStop or something to you, but I don't know. I haven't picked it up myself either.
All right, this one.
Because I think
I'm not gonna lie.
For that series, that Geodude's the only one I would be missing.
Looking at these pieces, this is the only build so far that I'm like, wow, this does not look exciting at all. Like, okay.
No, I totally get it.
It's a collection of just Connect.
Right, Angry Dragon 114 pointed out that Ekans is snake spelled backwards. You'll never guess how what happens when you, you know, what it is the other way.
Exactly. All right, 6 of these.
Mason asked, "Have you heard of Mr. Nightmare?" I'm saying that because I could not fall asleep yesterday because it's a horror story channel. I've never heard of Mr. Nightmare. No idea what that's about. All right, see you later, Galligade.
Thanks for hanging out with us for a while.
This is like the. I mean, this is so weird. The instructions are basic, but they're still like this long accordion thing.
Yes.
Like any other pack.
Yes.
Make it seem like it's bigger.
Yes.
You practicing your snake S's?
Yeah. Ekans!
Ekans. I can't think of Ekans without thinking of Pokemon Stadium. Because I remember the ring toss game with him.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about all those mini games.
They're so fun and yet kind of challenging. Like, you really get, like... that. If Mario Party is a friendship breaker, Pokemon Stadium games or mini games are like second friendship breaker.
I remember those. I remember when Pokemon Stadium came out and blew my entire mind. I said, "Oh my goodness, the Pokemon are in 3D and they're fighting."
Me too.
You know what actually brought me back into Pokemon? I was doing. I was working at the Lego store in Austin, Texas. And of course, like I said, I'm a Pokemon fan. I've been a Pokemon fan for my whole life. But of course, I took a break from it. I had a Pokemon Dark Age. And
fair enough.
What was the game that had them first moving? Was that Black and White? I think.
Like where they're walking around with you?
No, like they're in the animations. There's movement to them. Like they sit there and they have like a still animation where they're just moving. I think it was Black and White. I think. Not like it comes out and there's a different pixel art and then a different pixel art and then it just stands still for the whole rest of the fight. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, in the fights. I was gonna say in the party they all move, but
yeah, no, like actually in the battles where they're animated.
Okay.
So
you probably know it better than I do.
I think it was Black and White, but so I didn't know. I wasn't paying attention to the Pokemon scene because I was out again. And I was working at the store, and I came back from lunch one day, and one of my employees was on their break, sitting in a chair playing Pokemon on 3DS or whatever. I was like, "Oh, Pokemon!" I said, "Oh man, I used to play Pokemon." I went into the whole thing, and then I looked over his shoulder, and I said, "Is that Pokemon moving?" And he goes, "Yeah," and it was in the middle of like a battle sequence, and his Pokemon was moving, the other Pokemon was moving, and they had like their little animation for just staying still, and they'd have like their stretch or whatever, and then they'd fight. And I'm like, "Those Pokemon are moving." And he's like, "Yes, Kevin, they're moving." I was like, "That's a big deal." You don't understand how big of a deal that is. And so I went out and got it back, and I've been back in it since then. So it was just like, no,
wow,
I can't miss out on Pokemon moving.
Interesting.
Ekans is,
and the rest
thing.
They say is history.
Ekans is interesting. I don't know. I guess you can't really do too much else, but there it is.
I mean, considering what it is, I guess this would be the best way to build it out of parts. But they seemed a little hard to put together at first, but you get used to it.
I feel like it's too thin. Like, doesn't Ekans have a little bit of like
compared to the head, yeah.
weight to him? Like in the actual reference material, I feel like he's a little thicker than. This is like very thin, like garden snake.
Right. Yeah. The head definitely makes it seem that way because it's so bigger and like with the mouth open, feels wider.
We're gonna have to.
Oh, the snow speeder is a mock. Okay.
We have to train him so that he can become a.
All right, I'll see you later, mate.
All right.
My cousin was basically how I would learn about new games. Not that he was like my uncle works in Nintendo sort of thing, but I was always like half a console generation behind or so. So when I first learned about Pokemon Stadium, we were all little. We all were able to like fit in the same part of the room, and just watching it from a TV, it was amazing. The same thing happened like when I think it was the same Christmas that I got the Nintendo 64, a couple of games with it, and it was late in the cycle of the N64.
Yeah.
The GameCube was out by that point. and like when we went over to my cousin's house to celebrate Christmas and things, he was playing the GameCube. We're like, the hell is this? I mean, not actually using it, but
yeah.
we gotta be like, wait, what just happened? Did we miss something? It was a very close time for that, but and here I am. I only got a Wii U maybe 2 years ago. And people have been moved on for the Switch.
See, you're sticking with your.
I think people were really attached to the Wii U, but still, like
you're sticking to your traditions, man.
Yeah.
All right,
but
so
also
we still have plenty of time, so I guess we can crack open Cubone.
Yeah.
I'm happy. This one is definitely chugging along a lot faster than Blastoise and Snorlax.
Definitely. I mean, the difference is each of these have smaller. I figured it was going to be a little faster.
Yeah.
I mean, those Titans compared to these.
All right, Cubone.
There we go, Cubone.
I find it fascinating when you look at least the first generation of how they look and how there was different plans for evolutions and stuff that got switched at the last minute, and visually it doesn't make sense. Like how Cubone was originally supposed to evolve into Kangaskhan. Or no,
yeah, I've seen about that.
It was Cubone and then Marowak and then Kangaskhan, and then it totally makes sense when you look at it. You go, oh yeah, and then it dies and its mother and it's attached to it. Like it totally makes sense. Just like how
definitely
Venonat was supposed to evolve into Butterfree because they look the same, like stuff like that.
Right. It makes more sense than the Caterpie evolving the Butterfree.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes,
definitely.
It does.
I had the case here with the instructions. They weren't in their own packaging, and they were like crammed in the very top of the Pokeball.
Yeah.
But there we go.
Same.
Brick says he only has a Wii. Okay. I actually recently bought a Wii again because I had the original Wii. At some point, it no longer read discs, even though I played it for years and years just fine. And then I got that replaced with the Black Wii, which had the Wii Motion Plus sort of gimmick. Sometime after that, I traded it in with a couple other things to get the Wii U, so that way I could still play Wii games on one console. And then, like, this past week, I was looking for a Wii again, because I was like, oh, maybe I could split up the Wii and Wii U games, because I realized the Wii U doesn't have a really good storage capacity for all the Wii games I did still have. So I was like, well, yeah, let me just ease up on the load, and I could put some of the Wii games and their save data on the Wii. I got one this past week for about $25. It works great, and it's now like its own thing. Like it's been able to play games on its own pretty well. outside of the gigantic setup that I have in one room, I have like a smaller arrangement in my room.
That was like last week you just said?
Yeah, like the past week or so. Like
nice.
before Brickfest, New Jersey.
Nice.
Because I was looking through like Facebook Marketplace or something and seeing what the going rate was for it there, and I found it for like $25 with all the components. Because some people were selling it like 30 or so, but they didn't have the AV cables or they didn't have the controllers, and it's like, really?
Yeah.
But then the 25 was like, yeah, this is worth it. Hello, Samurai Z Fire. We got Building Hawk. Welcome back. Angry Dragon is asking, is the Cubone sad from losing his mom? I think Cubone's sad from not being chosen over Ekans or Rattata.
Yep.
Nobody even acknowledged it when we said, "Oh, you can choose between these three."
It's just not even a thing. This piece is like totally military, like missile tip.
Yeah, that is classic Mega Bloks for me because I do remember those from years and years ago, and I believe that's the same piece they use for the Vine and Bulbasaur uses the same pieces there.
Oh, okay. I haven't come across that yet.
Yep. All right, see you later, Nebulon Bricks. We got Fire 100 back in the room. We got Galligade.
The return.
Still here.
The return.
He says it's an Xbox 360. Okay. I still have mine. Actually, no, I don't have mine. About a year ago, my Xbox 360 that I've had for a long time, only one copy of it that I've had red ringed. And like no longer playable red ring. Because they have different stages of them, and the early copies were like rushed out and not fully tested, so it was very common for people to own like 3 or 4 copies of an Xbox 360 because it would get them replaced. Like, pretty terrible if you ask me.
Sounds like it.
But yeah, only last year or so, my Xbox 360 finally red ringed. I was able to transfer all the data over, so I didn't lose too much. And I got an Xbox 360 Slim, which has more storage capacity by default, and been working good since then. I'm not used to the touchscreen sort of thing on it. It's not really a touchscreen, but it's like you can gently touch the button to turn it on or to insert a disc in there, like to open up the tray or whatever. It's very, very sensitive. Like you don't even have to press the button in. It just kind of... Like, it even makes a sound when you have just a finger near it. Not kind of like motion sensor. I don't know how to describe it. But it's something I still have to get used to, but it works fine. I'm glad for that. Because it's definitely been like a good house of games. Especially the Lego games. I have a lot of those on there.
I made a mistake. Had to go back.
Yep.
Used the wrong.
No problem. I think I might have made a mistake already too.
I used the wrong piece for the feet, and that comes back to bite you.
No, I got the right. I got the right pieces for the feet. It was the wrong piece for the chest. They didn't quite line up.
Mm-hmm.
House of Bricks was asking, do I still collect Pokemon cards? Yeah, actually. I don't remember if I did it as a haul video, but a while ago, I did a trade with somebody to, like, they wanted some Lego. They were looking for Lego Dimensions packs, and they had a whole bunch of Pokemon cards. I basically got the entire Generation 1 of Pokemon cards, except for Tentacruel, and traded, like, 2 or 3 fun packs, like Ghostbusters, like Stay Puffed sort of thing, which wasn't too bad. I don't remember if there are any specialties to any of the Pokemon cards, like versions of them or whatever. It's like what I said before about licenses. As long as I have the character, I'm fine. I don't care the specific type of it. I was able to get Mew and I think Mewtwo out of it, which I was happy about.
Nice.
But it's my guess in Pokemon card form. So I have that to look forward to trying to find again. I have tried to ask one or two other people, but I have heard very little. Find the Tentacool card. Just any version of it, really. Just like a card version of the Pokedex sort of thing. I have also been trying to work on Generation 2 and 3, and I have scattered bits after that.
That sounds like a new Pokemon. Scatter bits. You caught a scatter bit.
It's just all pixelated, yeah. Galligate is asking, will you be getting any new Harry Potter sets eventually? I have my heart set on getting at least the Quidditch match and the collectible minifigure series.
Yeah, I definitely will get a few. I'm not a Harry Potter fan, but I do like some of those new parts and stuff in them. So,
yeah. I finally got around to this morning before the stream. I did see on Eurobricks the White Fang review.
Yeah.
So he has like very well detailed, like here's everything you need to know about these packs and what a box could have and the distribution of them. And
he always has the best reviews about a collectible minifig series.
Yeah, it's definitive at this point. You can only make one complete set out of a box.
Yeah.
Because of like one or two figures, and even beyond that, it's not much to make like a second one.
Yeah, well, it doesn't surprise me.
It only surprises me a little bit, but I do realize the fact that there's 22 in the series. There's no series has been more than that up to this point.
Yeah.
So I guess.
Yeah, it just seems like Lego Group wants to push more and more into these kind of chaser, rare, exclusive kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of that false sense of rarity thing.
Yeah,
because it drives more sales and gets more money.
That's true. Why is there a red piece in here?
That is, to go on top.
Oh, to stand them on the Pokeball. Okay.
Yeah.
So I did notice that with some of the other packs, they do have something like that with like what looks like a jumper tile or something to stand them on top.
There he is.
And now you finished before me this time because I'm still working on the head.
Q-bound.
That was pretty good.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Galligate says, only like the train and the C-map. The train is good. I'm just disappointed that there's not like a conversion instructions or anything.
Yeah, that's a miss.
Because it's like they've had it for every single version of the Hogwarts Express up to that point. And with the new train system and the Lego Boost and all these other electronics they've been pushing out lately, you would think they'd try to work those into it in some way. Or even offer something as like, oh, here's like an extra kit or accessory pack or conversion or whatever to make that happen.
Oh, did you? There's so many good things from this 72-hour live stream, man. There was so many fun moments.
I saw like a handful of them. There was like the one with you reacting to something.
Yeah, that was terrible.
That somebody posted on Instagram.
It was a movie scene from a film I have not seen before called Kingsman. I guess it's I don't know what it's about, but I was sent a clip and by one of the streamers, Tanya, and she's like, "Here, watch it, and I want to see how you react to it." And it was like one of the most brutal, bloody battle scenes I've ever watched. And
really?
Hey, I'm not like against it, but I was not prepared for it. It's like, what is this?
Yeah,
I mean, it was like serious business. But the
like,
video,
like, did they say something to bring it up? Like, why even get sent
I don't know.
in the
We
first
were
place.
talking about movies, I think, and she was surprised that I had never seen it. And I was like, I don't know. And of course, you're also trying to kill 8 hours. So she goes, here, I'm going to send you a link and you watch this fight. But it's so funny that the Brick Maniac took the like clips and edited it.
Yeah. That was great. Just the reactions on your face were priceless for me, but I didn't know the scene. I've never seen that movie either. Okay. I've deduced.
Yeah, go ahead.
That the reason why some of the instructions are bagged and others are not is because they have a felt piece.
Oh,
because Rattata and Meowth have been the only ones so far I've seen like that with the instructions, but they're also the only ones I've seen with the felt piece, even compared to the previous Pokeballs that I've built before.
That would make sense.
So that makes sense, not mixing them with the parts or anything and keeping them flat with the instructions.
So at one point, when you get a chance, you need to watch another clip that the Brickhead family pulled out from the 72-hour stream.
Okay.
Which is, I think I shared it yesterday on Twitter, but it's the A-Full Polybag War.
I heard the name go around, but I haven't seen the clip yet.
That one is so funny. Because it just like, it's interesting because it gets into this 5-minute just like comparison where everyone's like, look at this polybag I have, but look at this polybag, but look at my polybag, but I have 10 of those polybags. And it's just like it's really natural, like they're all just being fans and showing off. But then Brickhead family slices in like pieces of the Jaw scene where they're comparing their scars on the orca. It's like, well, look at this scar. It's like, well, look at that scar, and it keeps.
Oh, that's amazing!
And there's funny music, and it's just edited really well. It's just so good. It's too funny.
I gotta see that. That is hilarious from what it sounds like.
It's just so. It's so funny. I have that one, but do you have this one? I have 2 of those. Yeah, but I have 40 of these. But you have this polybag. It's just, it keeps going and escalates.
That's amazing. Yeah, I'm sure there are plenty of good moments out of that. I'm sorry I couldn't stay for a good amount of it.
No, that's all right. You had, like I said, you had a thing going on. I actually popped in. So I participated in 2 of them, but not probably in total maybe 6 hours, I guess, maybe in total.
Okay.
But I popped into 2 different streams. I popped into Bricksmith's for sure. I was on his the most. Mm-hmm. And then I popped in, I think, into one other one, perhaps. But I watched a lot of them. So like as it was just happening all weekend, I just kept my phone popping to the next stream and would just let it play while I was, sorting, cleaning up the basement or whatever. So I listened to quite a bit of it.
That's pretty good.
It was an impressive feat. 72 hours of constant streaming, and even though there's different hosts taking over each time, there's a lot of people that will hop over from one stream to another, and people that'll hop over to the chat. Like there's a lot of people that just kind of stick with it forever.
And that's a lot of time to kill. That's a lot of things to do that I've barely been able to see people to pull off even in 8 hours or so.
Yeah.
Like I know that the 24-hour thing has been attempted before, but nobody's been able to carry it or make it interesting for that whole period of time.
Yeah.
Sorry to say for those who have been a part of those, but I'm just being honest.
It's tough. It's a tough situation.
And I say that as a viewer as well as somebody who's been on those streams.
Here we have here's our
right. Almost got the Meowth together.
Here's our Rattata.
It's an interesting flip piece for the
potato
for the coin on his head. That's right.
I guess Meowth has like a little bit of a Jersey accent.
I guess. I mean, I did it, so I guess.
I think he does.
By default, I don't know what to call his accent.
Cubone and the fruits of our labors.
Yeah, I'm just checking with the chat now. Grown men showing their poly bags. They have so much. Boy, if I had been in there, I could have grabbed all of the poly bags. I have boxes full of poly bags. That's how bad it is.
See, you would have been there with them.
I've been scared. I've been scared to bring it up before. Like, I've thought, oh, it might be cool to share my poly bag collection. But then I think, I've been doing this for like 5 years of looking for poly bags. That's a lot to show at once.
You gotta watch it. It's overwhelming. It's so funny. Too funny.
Yeah, I'll have to look at some point and see what I... Because, like the CMF boxes, I've gotten those for... quite a while. Just like if I buy the CMFs and they don't have too many others left, they'll sometimes allow me to take the box. And those currently house a lot of my poly bags. And ones that have already been built, like opened up or whatever, but I still keep the bag with it, like whenever I bag them and put them away in like a sandwich bag or something.
Yeah. I used to keep my boxes from the collectible minifig stuff. I had them from Series 1 all the way up to maybe 12, I think. And I also had a box from the GB, the Great Britain Olympic team. Yep. And I had a box from the German soccer players. And I just sat there one day, and as I was cleaning up my basement, I said, why am I keeping these empty boxes? And I had to have some soul searching, because it's cool. I get it. It's neat. It's cool. Right. But I sat there and go, but they're empty boxes. And I sat there and I go, you know what? I can't think about this anymore. I'm throwing them away. And I picked them all up, and I went to the garage, and I threw them in the trash can. I was like, I just can't, when you're sitting there and you're trying to prioritize what you keep and why do you keep it, and I'm sitting there going, why am I just keeping these empty boxes in my, and they take up a lot of space when you start getting a lot of them. They start taking up a whole shelf of empty boxes. Like, man, I have a shelf full of empty boxes. But that's why where they are. Yeah, that's why where they are in my place. I have them above my bookshelf, but right below my ceiling, so I can stack 2 or 3 of them on top of each other at best. And I had the same sort of soul searching thing for a while because I was like, it seems weird to collect these if I'm not gonna fill anything with them. So I'm like, you know what? I do have a lot of Lego sets around, and I do still want to put them away in some way. Yeah, this would be great for small sets. I could pack a whole bunch of them in there at one time, and it's working great. There is no system for it though. Like, I can't say, oh, here are all of my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle poly bags or something like that, because they could be in 3 bins at once. Okay, that's cool though. I would like to go back through them and try to filter through so I can be like, here's a certain theme. If I wanted to find them, not even just by what's on the box, like Lego Batman movie or the Simpsons or whatever. That's cool though that you've given them a function, like they're functional for you, and that's awesome. So they're for you. It's just a very cool, collectible way to be a functional thing. Right. That's good. I've even had a few of them outside of Lego that are kind of scrunched in the corner, but still, for the most part, serve the same purpose. Outside of the collectible minifigures ones, I have Series 6, 8, and 9 from the Mixels, which are larger boxes, but they still do the same purpose. There's Series 1 Nexo Knights, so the Nexo Power Packs. There's a Thomas Mini box, because there were only 2 or 3, and I was getting a few of them anyway, so I'm like, might as well take a box and see what happens. Haven't filled it yet. There's one for Mega Bloks SpongeBob SquarePants when they had this Easter promotion. They were basically blind packs, but you could still tell them apart from each other because they had a cardboard backing to each case. There was a shell in front of it that looked like an Easter egg, like a little plastic shell for all the pieces and instructions. But there was a number on the back of each of them that told you if it was a blue SpongeBob or a pink one. They were wearing different bunny outfits. That's like the series 1 and 2 of the Lego ones where you could just check the barcode. Yeah, exactly. It's a very similar thing, and Mega Bloks has done that for many of their blind packs. They would have a certain embedded number on the back of it that you can tell which pack it is.
from each other. I've been able to do that with the other SpongeBob blind packs a few times as well. There's also a box in there for Brick Warriors, 1 or 2 of the waves of them that I just picked up a couple of the packs when they were real cheap.
So what I found kind of interesting, I don't know if this is still relevant or if it was totally the complete story, but I heard that the reason, at least for Lego, with season 1 and 2 of the collectible minifigs had the barcode was that one of the particular retail accounts, I think it was Target, had an issue with them keeping Lego in their inventory in which they did not 100% know what was in it. Like just for inventory keeping purposes, that they were uncomfortable with the notion of going, well, I have, 15,000 of these packs, but we don't know what are in these packs. And so they had kind of muscled Lego into having some kind of identifiable mark so that when Target was going down with their price guns and can take total inventory, that they could actually have a legitimate real inventory of what they had. I don't think it was for any other purposes other than just making sure their books were right or whatever. I thought that was really interesting when I heard about that. Because I was like, why do you
sound interesting. I haven't heard any story or explanation for it, but that does sound like a Target thing to do. Because they do have a weird thing now where if you try to look up whatever the barcode or the not ISBN, the DCMI, like whatever the number is categorizing these are minifigure packs, they have the same exact number for any series. It doesn't matter if it's a new one or if it's one that's already been on the shelf for a while. So like I don't know how that works into it, because that's like almost messing up the inventory even more. It's like these are 2 different sets basically.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really interesting.
Fire 100 is asking what channel was the 72-hour stream. It was multiple channels.
All the channels. Hashtag all the channels.
Hashtag all the channels. The Polybag War stream was on the Brickhead family or Bricksmith. We got Mike B in the room. Nebulon Bricks was also here. House of Bricks says, you threw them away about the CMF boxes. Oof.
It's all right. I've got no regrets.
I've seen the oof go in, so I've embraced it. Galligator was asking, do people buy empty boxes, you think? Sometimes.
Some do. Yeah.
It depends. I actually have had 1 or 2 extra copies. I have 1 or 2 extra copies right now of the Simpsons Series 2 and Disney. And I've had, like, I've seen it every so often of people buying the boxes. I didn't know if I was going to do the same with those, try to sell the better copy of it or whatever. And I say the better copy because if it's still a box, I don't mind if the top is ripped. Because that does tend to happen when people put them out in the stores. The top gets ripped off, or it just gets very, like, bended.
Yep. The flap, like that flap on the back?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We got Tyler Studios in here. Minifigure Collector also back. And Building Honk. Nice to see you here. We've now finished up all of the builds. I even threw together the Meowth that Kevin's done eons before me.
Extra Meowth. Extra Meowth for measure.
Gang's all right. They actually do look. Yeah. These actually do look good, like with the scene.
Yep, I do kind of like there is a decent consistency going across all of these. In terms of scaling, like I said, I think Ekans is a little too thin, but whatever. The others I feel like are pretty good. They're in the nice little. I really feel like they are in a universe of their own. And they're working together. They're complementing each other. There is still some cool pieces. Like I said, it's definitely not a perfect substitution for Lego, but that's okay. There's some good parts. There's some good colors. We talked about some of the rarer colors. They're definitely not really appearing in the Lego system. I think this Cubone color is maybe that kind of dark nougat. It looks very similar to it. Kind of eyeballing.
Dark flesh or something.
Yeah, but other than that, I mean, the other colors are pretty rare.
The tail of the Meowth stands out to me because I don't think that's a Lego color either.
Yeah.
You have very odd, like burnt red, like somewhere between red and brown.
Yeah. Burnt sienna.
Sure.
Very artsy
Hold on,
term.
let me go get my Crayola box and find the right name of the color. Oh, Cubone is actually tumbleweed colored.
Good. I'll wait.
No, I honestly don't know where it is, but
no, dang it! Don't set my expectations and then destroy.
I meant to make it as a joke, just
No,
a bit.
I want it to be real.
An actual thing.
It has to be one of those. Big
I mean,
boxes.
if I do have a Crayola box, I don't have the box. I have the crayons, and they're all probably in a giant Tupperware.
Sigh.
Yeah. Heck, I would go out and buy a new box of Crayola crayons if to get them all right. The old ones are probably broken anyways, so.
This is a macaroni and cheese color.
This is Granny Smith apple.
Granny Smith apple. There it is. It's good. It's good. So yeah, no, I think this was a lot of fun. I'll probably do what I've been doing, which is I'll probably take them apart just to kind of again see how the process of putting them together, taking them apart goes. I'm interested to see what happens with the joints on the Rattata. I want to see if they get even worse. But I'll take some photos, kind of all the pieces scattered out, and again, kind of do what I did with Snorlax. What are the pieces I think are the most interesting? What are the printed parts? And kind of get all that. Kind of going to share my Mega Construx thoughts in one big form somewhere.
Right.
But I do think they're cool, and I would kind of also like to see how these, if anything, can be translated into Lego a little bit too. But for what they are, I'm still impressed.
Yeah, I'm definitely still enjoying these, and they're getting a little bit easier over time when it comes to building them, because I've mentioned how it's some things can be a little more stiff than others.
You got to decondition yourself.
The Ekans was a little troublesome with just like every single joint. They're very close together, but it's still like works very well. Like even now, I've been able to get like a couple curls out of him.
Yeah.
Mostly standing up.
Yep.
But they're pretty fair. I'm still concerned about the Rattata as much as you are. I'll probably post a picture to Instagram or something up close about it, because I'm looking at every joint. They all have the same look to it. Because at first it was like one or two of them. Now it's like they've already resonated, and
great.
Cubone's got even some. The head is having that lime joint thing going on.
Yeah. What's funny is I've noticed ever since you and I have kind of, been building some of these and sharing it online, that I've noticed a few other folks in the community the Lego community who have been like, oh yeah, I got one too. And like, I feel like they've been a little bit maybe scared or nervous to speak out in public that they have a non-Lego product in their possession. But, they're like, a little bit emboldened to say, yeah, I got the Gyarados set. I thought it was cool. And it's like, yeah, there you go. Don't be ashamed, man. Like, it's toys. It's just toys. Everyone can calm down. It's just toys.
Exactly.
You can
a highly sophisticated interlocking building system.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, you can like what you like and hate what you hate, and no one needs to tell you what you should or should not play with.
Exactly.
It's all good.
I definitely have seen. And I'm going to give props to the community for even making this welcoming again for me, because I have done Mega Block stuff. I have done Connect stuff before on the YouTube channel years ago, but in scattered bits, like not all the time. And it wasn't dominating Lego by any means, but I was also like, I'm not even sure how far I would go into this publicly. I'm talking about it. And like behind the doors, I would still get some like Mega Block SpongeBob every so often or something like that. And I had like one video where I did an unboxing of this big Mega Block set that I had stored away for a while because I didn't know what I was going to get out of it. And people were interested. So I was like, this was okay, because like if this worked out fine, it made it easier to share about Mega Construx and doing the Pokemon stuff, which I still would have taken an interest in, but I didn't know if I would. I would express it.
Well, and what's the reception too, right? Like, do I put this out and then everybody? It's universal boycott of my channel. Oh no, you know. But it's like, you know, people gotta just, you know, relax. Everybody, it's a toy. It's fun, and you know, like I said, I do think that competition is very good for any brands that you are really passionate about, like Lego. You want Lego to have competition. You do. That is only good.
Yeah.
Only good for you.
Yeah, for any business, anywhere, any industry, it's always good. A few things I wanted to throw in here. Galligade says that he likes the Meowth one.
Nice.
It's pretty cool. Many Figure Collector is asking, did Mega Construx make any legendary birds from G1? Not that I know of. But that if they did, that would be they'd be pretty big.
Isn't the first, like, I don't think they've done any legendaries except for the one that's coming out very soon with Mewtwo in it and Mew. I feel like there's no legendary sets.
That's probably the only one so far. Because they haven't done Moltres, Zapdos, Articuno. They haven't done Ho-Oh. They haven't done Lugia or anything beyond that. There's actually not a lot from G2 I can remember them doing. This Poliwhirl and Spinarak and maybe one or two others. It's a Poliwhirl or Poliwag. Forgot the first one.
Poliwag is the first. That's the first, and then it's Poliwhirl. Then it's Poliwrath, and then Gen. I think was it Gen 2 where it all of a sudden could turn into Politoad, or was that Gen 3?
I think that was Gen 4 because I don't remember.
Oh, okay, yeah, it might have been Gen 4.
And Gen 2 is when that came out, so it wouldn't have been the same one. I didn't even realize that Politoad was like a branch from it.
Yep, Politoad is a thing.
Oh, well.
Politoad is a thing. Yep.
Galligate is also asking here, please can I ask you all to wish England good luck in the World Cup tonight? # football coming home.
Good luck.
I don't sports ball much, but good luck.
I feel like anytime sports is mentioned, I'm like Derek Zoolander. And I'm like walking into the bar and his dad and brothers are watching something, soccer, and he's like, who's winning the match? And they all just stare at him because he has no idea what he's talking about. I'm like, yep, that's me.
Right.
I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. That's me too. Like, I don't go to Applebee's or Chili's or those kinds of places or like sports bars or whatever you consider them. I go there for the food. I don't go there to watch the games.
Oh yeah.
They're on like be around me.
It's like I love Buffalo Wild Wings. I love it, but I have no interest in watching sports there.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. It's actually kind of that's the one thing I will say after The Incredibles 2, it's actually kind of scary seeing those because that's like the same kind of like a whole bunch of monitor setups. Before, I would think of it like a Target or something, where it's like they're just advertising TVs and you see the same thing on every single one of them.
Sure.
But now it's like manipulating.
You're scared.
It's like
now
you will watch sports.
You are
That's
afraid.
what it feels like.
You're going to be conditioned.
Mm-hmm. Nebulon says, I actually like Mega Construx, but I just don't like when people copy designs of Lego sets.
Sure.
You're thinking of Lepin.
Yeah, definitely those. A lot of those are, Asian-based companies like Lepin or Jingbao, where they really do just kind of copy and paste the same thing. That's totally a different arena.
Mm-hmm. And bootlegs like that, again, they exist in every industry.
Yeah.
Any kind of toy, any kind of electronic, can have the same kind of thing. Nebulon was asking, do you collect Pokemon cards? I did mention before, I'm trying to get just the characters, not really specific cards or anything like that. But I do have almost all of G1, except for Tentacool, my Feebas. I don't have a Feebas card, but man, oh man, I got a Feebas card. I actually do have some of the. I have some of the Pokemon e-reader cards because I got them back in the day with like. I don't think it was Nintendo Power. It was some kind of promotion. But they had like the. If I remember the e-reader that they had for the Game Boy Advance.
Yep, I remember that.
They had some of the Pokemon cards you could swipe with that. I'd have to check back as to which games they could swipe with because I might actually pick up an e-reader to use them. And if they can work in the Pokemon games, all the more to it. There may be like one or two of the cards that have more like Japanese text on them, no English at all. I think I still have no actual idea how I got those, but they exist. And I think I have done a video before showing the binder of all the Pokemon cards and a handful of Yu-Gi-Oh ones and some Lego ones.
Yeah.
But not like specific details about every single one. It's like, here's the page flip. Here's the page flip sort of thing. Okay, Nebulon is the same. Goes to Applebee's, never pay attention to the games. Mike B is asking, how many 2x4 bricks can you fit in a cup? I guess the pick-a-brick cup? Like, I have sitting right off frame. I'm not sure.
I think it's 100, maybe 150.
Okay.
Could be a little less than that. I know that people in the community have done intensive studies into how many elements fit into a pick-a-brick cup. And I am pretty confident there's some good information if you just kind of research it, and people have shown what they've been able to fit.
I mean, yeah, I've definitely done it myself before, filling a pick-a-brick cup with primarily 2x4s and then a whole bunch of other stuff, and I can't remember the count of it. I have done it with other types of parts that I would definitely want, in bulk, but I've only done it like once or twice before where I did actually count it. Like, there was one time they had on the pick-a-brick wall 1x6 by 5 panel pieces. I love those things. I love panels in general. I love 1x5s, 1x6s.
Are you talking like the wall, like wall elements? Right? Like big.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like they still have them every so often, and at one point I wanted to get as many of those as I could into a pick-a-brick cup, and I also want to get several other parts. But I found out while I was doing that, I could fit some of those parts in between the panels so that I would save space, because there was basically a pocket of air between two of those panel pieces. Mm-hmm. So I was able to do it with like fitting plates and tiles in there that I wanted to get in bulk as well. And I did it with like, in one panel piece, I could fit 2 2x4s, 4 1x2s, and a little bit more than that if I put the next panel on top of it a certain way. But if I didn't, then yeah, that would pretty much like they'd line up without like extending over it.
Sure. There's an art. There's an art to this craft.
Yeah. I've yet to master the art, but at least tried to dive in it. There's a video on my YouTube channel, I think, about it, where I put something like over 500 Lego pieces for $15 in big caps, question mark, or whatever it was. Yeah. But no, there was like, I opened it on camera as to all the parts that were in there, how I stacked them in, and how many parts I got out of a given cup. And it's always going to be depending on what elements are in there, but for what I was looking for, it was a good venture.
Yep.
Nebulon Brick says he got 132 by 4s last time. Okay. That's good.
Yeah, I feel like it's around that 100 to 150 mark.
Mm-hmm.
It's already it's 12:01.
Yeah, 12:01.
We did pretty good.
Yeah, we finished in good time because I thought we were gonna be finished by noon.
Nice, that's excellent. Is there any? I guess we can wrap it up if there's any last questions or anything or. From anybody watching?
Yeah. For anyone watching, if folks something out there, for me, for the rest of the day, I'm still doing some job hunting. I did a bunch yesterday and the day before, like actually going to businesses and asking if they had a paper application or an online one. 9 times out of 10 it was online.
Yeah.
It's like, why did I make this trip?
That's how it is now.
Filled out some online. I may have a chance at a video game store, but I'm still waiting on that. Because they said it'd probably take 3 weeks of going through the applications before they give responses, and it's like, oh.
Yeah.
And there was like a Dollar Tree that opened up near me that I did an application in person, filled it out in store, and they just opened, so my chances may be good for some kind of position, be it cashier or stock or whatever it may be. I always felt like I would work in stock. Like, even as a kid, I was like, if I saw something strange on a shelf, I would put it back where I thought it belonged. That kind of like attention to detail.
See, I spent so many years both working in a grocery store and then working at the Lego store where you get so used to straightening or the official term, visual merchandising. So you're sitting there and like making sure the labels are facing the right way, making sure the box are facing the right way. Stuff is in the right place. I spent so many years doing that now I cannot undo that. I cannot unsee that. So like when I'm casually shopping, like if I'm daydreaming or whatever, I'll just start straightening stuff on the shelf and I'm like, why am I doing this? This is so stupid. Like, stop it.
Right.
Stop it.
Yeah. It's a nervous habit. And it doesn't help for me that like I would see things like that and I try to rearrange them every so often on a store. But then there is like I mentioned the last stream about Toys R Us when Toys R Us was a thing. The notorious Toys R Us that had like very strange habits of some things that were on shelves before they were supposed to be released, or if they were like an October thing before it's a promotion, and I'd be waved to get at least one, like maximum one copy of it. I wasn't hoarding them after that. Or they would occasionally have the ripped boxes or things brought it back and like missing figures or whatever. That's another case where I was like, I feel like I should be working in inventory because I wouldn't have screwed up this many times with what should and should not be on a shelf and dates and whatnot. Yeah. Like I see it so frequently, I feel like I need to go in there and say, let me do this. And I'm just a customer.
Let me fix this for you.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That is a bit disappointing now. And I've tried applying with Toys R Us in the past for actual positions of like even a register. They did at one point have toy demonstrator as a position. I don't know exactly what that is, but I was like, that doesn't sound too bad. And when I applied for it, and I went to them in person and said, hey, I have an application that's for this. Did you receive that? And they were like, we already have that position filled, like for a while. And I guess it was just like they didn't remove the position available on their site or whatever. So I was like, this is just false information. But whatever.
Yeah, it is. That's too bad.
But it's been a shame that I've tried to work there for so long and try to throw applications every so often, and
now it doesn't exist.
Never have that claim of fame of working at Toys R Us.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah.
Well, that's all right. You'll find a better job somewhere else.
Yep, I'm sure there's something better. I'm still holding out for the Lego store, still waiting for them to come back. Because the last time I threw an application their way, as per your recommendations and advice, I asked them out of curiosity, like, how long do you think it would take to process or to get any word back? And they said maybe 3 months.
Like, wow. Okay, that's unusual.
I hope not. Or at least the person that I asked about it, they said that's how long it took me for hearing back. I don't know if it's going to be any different.
Wow. All right. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So do we have anything else in the chat? Just so I can, not to cut it short, but I can go run and have some lunch. But
well, no, yeah, I could eat too.
Hashtag I could eat.
Not much else from the chat. Vision Bricks, I did see you in here. Nice to see you. Kevin, building Pokemon with me? I could. We already built them a while ago. Building Hawk said he'll send me a message on Hangouts. Cool. Nebulon said it may send pic of the snowspeeder. Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing it. That's one thing I've started to learn more about Star Wars is even though there are different like variations of the same model, even if they get rehashed year in, year out. For Rebels vehicles, I've been more used to the idea of they don't have to be all the same. They could have a guerrilla style to them because they're Rebels. They're only going to have so much, they're not always going to have it like exact copy of a certain thing. And like doing a Star Wars collab where that was kind of part of the premise. Like we didn't always make it with just plopping the set right into a scene. It was like, no, we built the Snowspeeder or we built the X-Wing from the ground up with variant, like different colors and things like that. Where it still felt like this is just, mechanically it's the same thing. But stylistically, it's a little bit different. I think that was, let's see, Mike B. Is it better to put the brick in the cup loose on brick build? Do you get more? It's better if you attach the pieces together because you have that little area of space around every brick that you're eliminating. And It does save a bit.
Yeah, it's all about time. I mean, it's going to add your time to your visit in the store exponentially. But if you want to really get your money's worth, I mean, that's the way you do it.
Yeah, definitely. And go with the most solid thing first versus the 1x1s. Those are good for sprinkling in between things. It's like filling a cup or filling like a cup for like a beverage. Put the ice cubes in first and then the drink. Or I know people are two different ways about this, but I think the general consensus is put the cereal in before the milk.
Oh yeah,
in a bowl.
Absolutely.
Like that sort of mentality, because it's like you'll get more of the cereal, you get more of the ice cube, and the rest will just kind of like coat around it because it's more like it's smaller. The 1x1s of plates or tiles or whatever it's going to be are the same way. They're smaller. They can fit in tighter corners that the other larger pieces couldn't. So with that, I think we'll wrap up for today.
Cool.
Probably work or two for tomorrow. So Polyathon, be prepared.
Nice.
Polyathon 2, the second part, as somebody titled it before, because
there it is.
I had an influx of poly bags at one time from a trade, and then built them and put them all into one video. And then later on, I had the same influx about a week ago. So now I'm going to try to build those poly bags and review them all at once.
Nice. Excellent.
All right. So we'll see everyone later. And thank you again for joining me, Kevin.
Absolutely. Thanks for everybody that hung out and joined in the chat and watched. Appreciate it.
All right. And have a good day, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.